it's Lady Flo. How are you tonight? We are about to go into some daddy issues. Jip and Rod have a complicated relationship, but now that they've reunited and they're sitting late at night by the shed talking till midnight, I just hope Rod knows Jip never forgets who does her wrong. There's one law I think she does live by, which is the law of revenge. So they're on her good side for now. But let's remind everyone that the public originally believed Rod was a deadbeat dad. Now, I'm not saying he was. I'm saying sometimes complications happen in relationships, but it looks like Dee Dee and Rod had each other's phone numbers. They would call each other, and it looks like Mia called Gypsy around the year of 2 years old. She would start seeing Gypsy at the house with Rod. She remembers seeing Gypsy when she was 2. She remembers calling her at a very young age and wishing Gypsy a happy birthday. They did not go to the birthday party, but they wished her and called her happy birthday. Mia has the story right here. Let me plug it in.
And we sung her happy birthday on the phone. God knows how old I was, but that's probably the first memory I have just because I was so young. I was 2.
Daddy issues. 2-year-old Mia got to live with her mom and her dad, and they stayed together throughout their relationship. But it must have been hard for Mia with her dad going away, working on the rig for months at a time. And she remembers being 2, calling Gypsy, wishing her a happy birthday. And then Gyps would come and play at the house with her. And she remembered Gyp being really weird because, she didn't act like all the other kids. Like Gyp was obsessed with characters and princess and always being a princess. And, she thought it was weird. Mia thought it was a little weird. Well, talk about daddy issues. Rod explains that it was hard to see Jip because they lived an hour away. And, Jip explains they lived south of New Orleans, way out in the past the cutoff area where it's basically all these little islands surrounded by water, and that it was hard for Rod to get out there. That's why they called and wished happy birthday as a family. So Rod, Christy, and Mia from the house together called to wish Gypsy a happy birthday, but they didn't drive the hour to go drop off a present and wish her a happy birthday in person. And Rod explains the hour was hard. Now, we don't know everyone's story. We don't know how much gas money they had. We don't know their car situation. But Ken seems to do a huge dig here. Ken gets on the VI files. He makes a direct dig at Rod Blanchard. Basically calling him a deadbeat dad. Okay? He gets on and emphasizes not once, not twice, but repeatedly that he lives only an hour away. And it's so great because he's so close to Gypsy. Basically letting Rod know you had no excuse.
It's great. I
Yeah.
mean, she's only an hour away. So we get to spend a lot of time together.
Now, ladies, you know that if you're in an interview and you hear a man over here is putting his chin up in the air and saying, "Well, I drive an hour for you every week," and your dad couldn't drive an hour to see you growing up, and chin up in the air like that, you know your man is defending you because of something you said to him. Jip has probably had many discussions with Ken saying, my dad wasn't there for me growing up. I have daddy issues because of it. This is why I have so many characters. This is why I had that kitty character. But the thing we need to remember is Ken agreed 7 years ago to name his daughter Aurora. Ken agreed to that. Ken agreed to get those matching D tattoos on his arm, so that when they put their arms together, it says Dee Dee. Ken agreed to get in front of that mattress-looking photo op with the bows that look like pillows. And as many of you brilliant commenters said, I love your comment so much because you pointed out very quickly the obvious that everyone else missed, which is that the colors on that bedding, the pink satin and the white ruffle, is exactly the kind of bedding that was on Dee Dee's bed when she was unalived. Ken is standing in front of that mattress holding the heartbeat of his future baby named Aurora, and you can't tell me that he doesn't know who he's dealing with. So if these rumors are true that Ken is not feeling well, I really hope he gets better. But if he really is not feeling well, he knows who did it. Is he going to cover for this person like Dee Dee did and enable the person? Time will tell. Is it even real that he's actually not feeling well? Again, time will tell. Well, one thing is for certain. Gypsy has not forgotten that Rod did not drive the hour to go see her, but that Ken did. And if she can serve Ken wieners on a plate of spaghetti, and if Ken really is not feeling well, Rod, what do you think she has planned for you? She planned 3 years plus to what she was going to do to her mom. 3 years plus. Who knows how long she's been planning for this, but I will say this little clip I found of her from her prison confessions, she planned and started moving and packing her little room in prison 2 years before her release. So I don't know how much stuff she had in her little prison room. I can't even imagine how much decorations you'd have to pack, how many dishes, how many whatever you'd have to pack in a prison cell. But it took her, she said, 2 years before her release. She was packing her prison cell.
Kind of funny because I started packing like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it is kind of funny because what'd you have to pack? Like a pillow, a notebook, a pencil? What did they allow you in prison that you had to take 2 years to pack? And remember when your mom kicked you out and you were leaving your house and Nick was telling his sisters and his friends that you were being kicked out and the only thing saving you was you hadn't packed all your stuff yet? Yeah, all that stuff in bags was stuff you were packing. Girl, how long were you actually packing before you unalived your mom? Were you packing a year, 2 years like you did for your prison cell? And let me just end with this, okay? Justice for Nick. She had plans for him before she even met him, and he had no clue that he was just a Nicholas who would then be a Victor, who was really just fulfilling the role of Rose Red, Stephen King, for Gypsy's act, the act that she planned for 3 years for the night she would unalive her mom. And for anyone who still judges Nicholas Godejohn and thinks that he manipulated all of this, let's remember who the planner is and who is not the planner.
Yes, I make it. Do what I want you to do. Prove that you're right.
Justice for Nick. Justice for Nick.